Dr. P here. I just want to talk a little bit about the function of the vagal nuclei at the level of the medulla oblongata. There's actually 5 of them. Some books say 4, but 5 is probably the right number. And there's a lot of function of the vagus nerve, as you've heard. There's also a pharyngeal nerve, the superior laryngeal nerve. There's superior cervical cardiac branches, inferior cardiac branches, and the recurrent laryngeal nerve. So a lot of laryngeal function is happening on behalf of the vagus nerve. Now let's look at those 5 nuclei. We've got the dorsal sensory nucleus, which is a little more medial and posterior right there. Then just behind it is the round nucleus. And then the third one is the nucleus of the solitary tract. And that one is a little more lateral. They kind of form a triangle right here. And some of these are going to contribute to 9 as well as 10. Then we get into 2 of the motor contributors. We've got the nucleus ambiguus is slightly off midline right here, maybe a little further back than that. And then we've got the second one, which is the nucleus of the solitary tract, which lies just in front of this little triad here and sits a little more medial than the nucleus of the solitary tract. So these 5 participate together, and the vagus nerve includes axons which emerge or converge from all 5 of these nuclei. Now, the dorsal nucleus sends parasympathetics to the viscera, especially the intestines. The nucleus ambiguus, which is right here, gives rise to the branchial efferent motor fibers of the vagus nerve, and preganglionic parasympathetic neurons that innervate the heart. Pretty darn important. Then the solitary nucleus, which receives afferent taste information and primary afferents from the visceral organs, and the solitary nucleus is going to be right here. And then finally, one that we haven't discussed, one you can kind of add on to these 5, the spinal trigeminal nucleus. I'm not going to draw it. It receives information about deep, crude touch, pain, and temperature of the outer ear, the dura of the posterior cranial fossa, and mucosa of the larynx. And if you want to see more about that nucleus, you can go to the discussion of nerve number 5. That concludes our discussion of the nuclear function for the vagus nerve. There are at least 5, maybe even 6 nuclei that are participating. Dr. P. out.